Well, good morning. Welcome to another adventure with Cookie and the Cowboy. I am the Cowboy Pirate. Cookie is not with me. She's still recovering from surgery. Now, if you look behind me back there, you can see a whale of a bunch of thunderheads building up. I was going to go up to Rockport today and jig up some perch, but it's just too windy and rough for me to do light line jigging. So I'm down here on the Weber River. This is a blue water section. It's special regulation. You cannot use bait down here. And this area gets hit hard with flies, so I'm going to use an old method. I've got just a handful of old hand-tied Marlboro jigs along with me. We're going to toss them in these holes, see if the brown trout think of them, and see if we can get a few caught before that storm pushes me back to the truck. So why don't you go ahead and cinch that saddle down tight, hop in the pirate boat. Let's go catch a brown trout, marabou jig style. And there we go. There's a dandy brown. Look at him go. That's a dandy brown. That's what we're looking for right there. Whoa, Nelly. Whoa, look at him go. Look at that old brown go. Just dropping this little handmade jig right here along this grass. Let's see if I can get him reeled in without losing him. Check that big feller out. Whoa, that's a big old brown. Hard to film this and get him in there, but let's see what we can do here. Yeah. Check out that tuna. Whoa, that is a big brown. Patrick, your homemade jigs got me a dandy today. Whoa, what a monster. And the line just busted as they got him in the net and set him up here. Let's see if I can get that hook out of there. Little homemade jig by Tube Dude. That's going to be one of my best browns in the Weber right there. There we go, right there. Beautiful little jig and a phenomenal fish. I'm not even going to try and measure him. I want to get him back in the water as quickly as we can. So let's get him moved over and set back in the water. All right, that's a beautiful fish. Got the hook out. We're not even going to touch him with my hands. We're just going to get a nice release on him here, leave him in the net. Let somebody else have some fun with him one day. Actually, he needs to be breed stock. Look at the colors on that beauty. These are some little 1/16 ounce jigs. They're not Marlboro like I started off with. They were a little heavier jig and I was snagging too much on beaver wood down in there, some beaver cuttings. So I dropped these little 1/16. A friend of mine makes these. They're more of an ice fishing jig, but I've had really good luck with browns. Usually have them tipped with a bit of worm, but I'm just fishing them kind of dead stick like a nymph, floating down through these currents, ripples, and holes. And boy, that was a dandy brown, Pat. Dandy brown. Thank you, sir. Man, I'll tell you what. That old brown got my heart pumping. That was a good feeling there. You know, I was just hoping that maybe this area had been hit so hard by fly fishermen that maybe a big trophy brown was looking for something a bit different. And I was right. They took that little 1/16 ounce jig. It's not fast and furious, but that was pretty dang exciting. So I'm gonna see if I can get a couple more, and then I got to go home and tend to Cookie. Jigging for browns on a river or any fish on a river is a bit of a different game if you've never tried it, and especially if you can't use bait. If you can tip with a bit of worm or some sort of fish like a chub or a minnow, they'll just grab a whole lot better. But yeah, if you've got to do it naked like I'm doing, light lining through this current and these holes, it's tough. They'll spit it out half the time. You won't even know you got a bite. But boy, it's a hoot when they take it off and run with it. You're fishing these little light jigs in the faster water. I'm running them just literally like a nymph, casting upstream and letting them bounce along the rocks, and you will lose some that way for sure. And then when I'm fishing the deeper holes, I'll cast, let the current bring it into the holes, and slowly work it back like a wounded minnow. Another big one up underneath this little tree under here. That's gonna be a tough one to net. I'm probably gonna have to turn the camera off before I get him tangled up in the brush here. I'll tune back into you here in a second. Oh man, that was a big fish too. Another one just like that other one. In my excitement of that last brown, I left my landing net sitting back there. I tried to hand line him up onto the shore, and with that little 4-pound test, that did not work at all. Oh man, was that a big fish. Another, looked like the duplicate of that one before. Hopefully you saw him a bit splashing around there. If I'd had a net, I'd have landed him, but shut this GoPro off and walk back and go find my net. And there's that old landing net. Dadgum you, I needed you a few minutes ago. Oh man, them big old browns get my heart a pumping. Reminds me of my young days. I walked this wee river back and forth all over this country growing up. Back then they didn't have special regulations. Man, them big ones get your heart a pumping. What was really special about that second fish was I could see that jig floating underneath that tree. Water's just clear as can be. And I watched that thing just come out slow like Jaws and whoop. And then I looked over and realized I'd left my landing net, and I knew I was in trouble because there's it's steep bank here, just no way to pull him up on the shore. But oh man, good times. I got another one. Oh, don't be tangled up. Don't be tangled up. Oh, there he is. Oh, that's a good fish. That's another good one. Oh, that's a good fish. Dang you, get out of them sticks. Get out of them sticks. Oh, yeah. That's another good one. Let me get him reeled in a little closer. Get a net under him. I actually have the net this time. Got the net. All right, I got the net. Bringing him in. There we go. Oh, look at that dandy. What a day. What a day on big, big browns. Oh man, what a tuna. All right, let's see if we can get him released carefully. Okay, we'll give you that little twist, pop that jig out, and we'll see without even touching you if I can get you released too. You're in pretty good shape. You ought to be just fine. Oh yeah, there he goes. Now my friends, that's more fun than is legally allowed by law, but fortunately it's legally allowed by law. Yeah, ultralight jig fishing, something they haven't seen before very often at least. He's picking up some dandy browns this morning. Well, that was a hoot. Short video. Promised Cookie I'd get back pretty quick to her, and I probably went longer than I should have already. You got that surgery she's recovering from, needs me to do some of the heavy work around the house. That scares me. But yeah, some really nice browns. I picked up a couple more in the current. They were smaller, and I just didn't have a way to get my camera out while I was playing out in the current that way. But yeah, that's a good time. Give this a try if you want to try something completely different for browns. This is a good time of the year to do as they start to get ready for the spawn. They're starting to get a little more aggressive and active. Go have yourself some fun. Hey, we'll see you next time. Remember what Cookie always says, there is always something beautiful if you just look around for it, no matter what your struggles are.